So I'm going to talk about 5 different reasons why you are not losing fat as well as you think you should be. Number 1. So a lot of the time people think they should be losing fat at a quicker rate than they are. And it's because they're not actually in as much of a deficit as they think they are. And the reason for this is they overestimate how many calories they need and they underestimate how many steps they need to do to lose weight. A great rule of thumb for most people is to hit a minimum of 10k steps. That is just the kind of amount of exercise in a day that allows you to burn a decent amount of calories. And then on top of that, you need to trial and test a certain amount of calories to see if you're actually in a deficit. And the way you do that is you weigh yourself daily and you eat a certain amount of calories. So that might be, for example, 2,000 calories. And you see if you are losing fat on the steps you are consistently doing. And that's the key there, is the consistency part. Because if you're doing 8,000 steps one day and 2,200 calories, and then you're doing 1,800 calories another day, but you're doing 14k steps, it's really hard to work out, are you in a deficit or aren't you in a deficit based on your numbers being all over the place. And if that is the case and you can't control that, work out the averages and then see what the averages are saying. I can't talk whilst walking uphill. Number 2 is that people think that they're eating, for example, 2,000 calories, but they actually might be eating more towards like 2,300, 2,400 because they're not tracking everything. So you might be asking, what should you track? And the answer is everything. At the start of your journey, you don't know what's in stuff and what's not in stuff. Now, over time, you get really good at working out what actually is in, most foods, how calorie dense things are, and therefore you can start to eliminate some foods from potentially tracking on a regular basis. So for example, if you have squash for your drink every day and you have the same amount of juice every day, for a fact you could probably eliminate that as like an average daily sort of amount of calories that you don't need to track as long as it's consistent. However, there are people who don't track sauces, seasonings at the start, because some seasonings can start to rack up, especially if you put them in every meal. Oils, some people don't know there's calories in the oils you're using, and they say, oh yeah, I used a teaspoon of olive oil there. It's like, that's easily a tablespoon and a half right there. And these calories rack up and they add up over the day. A big one, and I know for a fact that most of you are doing this, is you just grab little tiny snacks as you walk around the house. So your family members might have little sweets lying around. I know Caitlin always has snacks lying around. And the temptation to just quickly nab one as you're walking through the room, and you don't think in your head, I should probably track that, you know what I mean? And those little sweets can add up, and those little biscuits and cookies and crisps and all that kind of really tasty, small, snacky things, you don't realize how many calories are in them, and that racks up. And then a 500 calorie deficit is gone because of these tiny little things that have added up over the full total day. Number three is a little bit of a curveball, and it's your sleep. A lot of people do not prioritize their sleep, and as someone who has struggled with his sleep for the last kind of 4 or 5 months and is sort of kind of getting on top of it, I can't stress enough how important it is. This thing literally controls hormones in your body that are going to tell you whether you're hungry or not. Is that not the biggest hack? Do you know what I mean? There are people constantly talking about, what injections they take to help them reduce their hunger and to help reduce their cravings. And they don't even realize that if you get a solid 7.5 to 8 hours sleep a night, that will help manage that massively. And these people are, they're taking these injections and they're on like 3 or 4 hours sleep a night. You're fighting against yourself, before you've even started. Number 4 is not taking advantage of high voluminous foods. I don't even think voluminous is even a word, but I'm just going to use it anyway. People will complain about being on a diet because they say it's really tough, because they're hungry all the time. My man, you're eating a meal deal with crisps and chocolate bars. How are you expected to be full on that? That is literally food that's been engineered to be tasty and for you to get as much of it in you as possible and want more after you've eaten it. That is the complete opposite of the kind of foods you want to be eating. Here's what you want to do. You want to eat foods that fill you up massively, that are pretty low density in calories and that aren't that tasty. Because the thing is, when food is really tasty, and I see this of like loads of recipes online that are like low-cal, super tasty recipes, and the issue with those kind of things, it's great when you're in a game phase and you've got the calories to have it. But when you're in a cut, when you're trying to lose weight, all that tasty food is going to make you want to do is have more of that tasty food after you've eaten it. So for example, when I eat my Greek yogurt bowl with my frozen berries, my pomegranate seeds, all that kind of stuff in, it's tasty, it's really good, especially the obviously the leaner you get, the hungrier you get. But I'm not thinking to myself, oh yeah, I'm going to crack out another bowl of that now. As if you have a chocolate bar, there is no way in hell you're having a chocolate bar and not thinking about, should I go get the second one out of the pack? And finally, number 5. And I'm almost fully walked around my usual walking block. And I'm aware that this video is super, super long and it's kind of just me walking and talking, but screw it. We'll see if anyone watches to the end and gets to number 5. Number 5 is probably the most important one, and it's consistency. And obviously, consistency, it's all it says is consistency. And it's because it's so true. You can absolutely nail your deficit Monday to Friday. By nail, I mean anywhere between 500 to 700 calorie deficit, which is it's a decent deficit. But when it comes to the weekend, I'm telling you right now, unless you track over the weekend accurately and you see what you are having, you are eating more calories than you think you are. Most people do not realize the amount of calories they are consuming at the weekend because they stop tracking and they start having extra tasty stuff, super high calorie density stuff, alcohol, and they don't track any of it, and they then don't realize how much of a counterbalance that is doing to their start of the week / midweek where they've done so well. So I am suggesting not to completely cut out your weekends and say no to everything and to stick to your normal, deficit and diet, but potentially just track over the weekend and see how much you're actually having and then make some substitutions. If you're having 8 drinks on a Saturday and then 8 drinks on a Sunday, that's just such a high amount of calories. And also, alcohol is not good for you. Do you know what I mean? This is going to be degrading to your results. Cut it back. Do you know what I mean? Bring it down to 3 or 4 drinks on the Saturday and then nothing on the Sunday. It's only when you start making cutbacks like that, you realize how much you're actually having. When you do cut back, you're like, geez, I can't believe I was having, 8 to 10 drinks at the weekend. It's only when you cut back, you realize how much that actually is. You know what I mean? And I know people think, yeah, but it's a one-off. I don't do it very often. You do it more often than you think. I'm telling you right now, and I'm aware of this for myself as well. In society, we've become very, conformed to the idea of drinking alcohol on a regular basis. And I don't think people realize how much they're actually consuming until they start tracking it. And then they become aware and they go, well, actually, I do need to cut that back, actually. And it's the same with the food. The issue with the alcohol is it then leads to takeaways and other bad choices. You're less likely to get your steps in. It's just a whole bundle of bad stuff at the weekend that is outdoing all the work you are doing in the week. So you need to get your weekends in check. That is the biggest thing for most of you people out there. That is the thing that's holding you back. And if you can find a way to fit that into your lifestyle, to have a social life without absolutely destroying all your progress in the week, that is going to be when you make consistent progress. That is going to be the big deal. So thank you for watching this whole video. It's been super long, but hopefully you got some sort of value from it. If you did, give it a little like and drop me a message just saying, thank you for this video. I took this away from it. Just gives me an idea of kind of what people are wanting to listen to, if you are listening, that is. And check out that hairdo. Wow, wicked, I look amazing. Right, have a great day, people. Sorry if this is a bit ranty and a bit long, but I just hope it helps someone. Bye.